Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jamie Dean, and today on Sidescrollin, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a look around all of this. We're going to be doing a game room tour on the channel today, taking a look at all my game collection in depth, having a look at what I've got on the shelves behind me, all the things I've managed to collect over the years. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, here we are. This is the game room, my little corner of the house. And as you can see, it is very, very packed in here. I'm standing in the doorway and trying to show you a full sweep around of everything. So this is what it looks like when I'm streaming. So I've got the LEDs on, the pink and blues. But what I'm going to do is I will turn them off very shortly just so we can have a proper look at everything in here, and we'll go through all these shelves here one at a time, show you what's in them, go through the collection, have a bit of an in-depth deep dive into what I keep on my shelves, and give you a look at it all. But this is sort of like, well, it's hard to convey just how small this room is. I remember when Scott came to visit me, he's so used to seeing, like, you know, this whole backdrop behind me when I record and when I do the stream, but it's actually ridiculously small room. He was really surprised at just how tiny this little room is. So there's not a lot of space in here. The camera definitely adds a few meters, I think. But yeah, anyway, let's go in. I'll turn these LEDs off, and then we'll do a little bit of a tour. We'll start sort of like over here with the streaming rig, and then we'll just make our way gradually around the room from there. All right, so this is my desk. This is a massive 7-foot table that is dominating this room. It's like literally, what do we think? Like half the width of this room. It's pretty close. There's not a lot, like there's more table than there is floor space. It used to be my old wargaming table, and so I'm reluctant to let it go because it's a perfect size for that. But I'm going to talk about, at the end of this video, some changes that I want to make to the game room, and I sadly think that this table is going to be one of them. But this is where I sit, and this is where I do my recording. This is where I shoot my videos. We've got like a little, I tend to use this space here as a bit of like a board gaming, tabletop gaming area. I don't actually have a dining room in my house. We live in a very, very tiny little 2.5 bedroom cottage. This is the half bedroom. And there's just there's no dining table. There's not a lot of space. We have well and truly outgrown this house. But you know, it is what it is. We're gonna make the best of it. So this is where I usually, you know, play board games, tabletop games, skirmish games, little bits and bobs like that. This here, my lovely Bulbasaur, wearing my crown that I won at my most recent board game retreat that I go on twice a year with my buddies, with the Sidescrollin fellas and a few other friends of ours. And for the very first time, I won the most games, and so won the crown. So that'll be mine to defend on the next trip. Across here, you can see I'm just watching Sam absolutely demolish my Mega Man playthrough and embarrassing me. He claims he's defending my honor. Fucking bollocks he is. It's all just a ploy to make me look absolutely horrific, which is fine. I don't need any help doing that, Sam. I'm quite capable of that on my own. But here's my setup, dual screen. This monitor is like God, 15 years old or something ridiculous. It's ancient. By the time you're watching this, this will probably have been replaced and upgraded to another 27-inch screen like this one to match. But yeah, I think I'm going to redo most of this, but again, I'll talk about that at the very end. Tower LEDs on the fans do light up, but they reflect in my glasses, which then you can see on camera, and they're very distracting, so I've turned them off. Hopefully one day I'll get new glasses that have like, what's that, like that anti-reflect, anti-glare coating on them. These ones I have at the moment do not, so they're just like mirrors for lights. We've got Yu-Gi-Oh poster. My mum found this for $2 on the Facebook Marketplace. I was like, yes, please, I'm going to have that for the game room. Fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh, always have. Really, really one of my top animes. It's so fucking campy, goofy, over the top, but I just love it. I just really, really like Yu-Gi-Oh. Still a bit of spare space here and here that I'm going to be filling in. I'll talk about that again towards the end, but looking to put something up there. But we've got a couple of key lights there, my webcam, but yeah, that's pretty much where I sit. We got a few bits and like a few of my choice bits and bobs down here on the table, just for my own. Nobody ever sees them, it's just for me. But there we go. And again, a few bits and pieces, very dusty as you can see. A more prepared professional would have cleaned before shooting a game room tour, but alas, you're stuck with me. Been playing a lot of Space Marine 2 lately, so I had this Space Marine poster, which you can't see very clearly because of the reflection, but hey, there I am. Hi. But it's an awesome poster from a Conquest magazine that I've had for ages and had an excuse to put it up while I've been playing Space Marine 2. My Street Fighter 2 poster that I bought. I fucking love this thing. Really, really love it. I've also got a Final Fight poster, which is actually sitting in this frame behind the Space Marine 2 poster, but I'm not a huge Final Fight fan. I'm not overly attached to the game, so I'll probably end up replacing that with something that's a little bit more speaks to me. I'm eyeing off a Pokemon the first movie poster at the moment, and so that's probably where that will end up when I get my hands on it. All right, then we come over here. Now with the colors off, you can much more clearly see what's on the shelves behind me. These are just cheap Kmart bookshelves. They're small, they cost nothing. Small being the key word because I can fit them in here quite easily, and inexpensive is also very, very good. We'll have a look across the top. Starting over here, so we've got Gyarados, a few pops up there. This thing's quite cool. I don't think it makes the noise anymore. No, out of battery, but it used to make the one-up noise, which is cool. A couple of Gundams up there. This was my attempt at making a Playmates 90s style action figure paint job for a Gundam. It looks good enough on camera, you know, like with the crazy fluoro hyper colors, but if you get up close, yeah, it's not it's not great. But it sits up there just as a reminder of like, hey, that's a cool project for me to do one day. I did it with spray cans, which yeah, just wasn't good on because it's so fine. It all fits together like so just right and perfectly. It's so finely engineered that the spray can just gunked it up and it didn't go together very well. So I really need an airbrush to do that, I think, one day. My Wii U Mario Kart 8 premium box. I love the Wii U. I know it wasn't popular, but I adore it. I love that console. Lots of good memories playing the Wii U. Still got it, still hooked up to my main TV in the living room. And that is my original box that I first got it in on launch. We can see there's a Switch box up there. We've got a Charmander Mega Pop that I've had for years and years and years. We got some controllers, a few amiibos, bits and pieces. There's Hercule. I love these things. I got these really cheap. I think they're on sale somewhere. I can't remember where. Went into a shopping center and they were getting rid of them. So I grabbed some of them just because I think they look cool. Wind Waker bookend light stand thing. This is awesome. This is one of the coolest things I own in my collection. This is my original Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time cartridge. You probably saw me open this on stream maybe, or on video. oh gosh, a little while ago now. But Scott made this. This is like, Scott makes these framed video games. And they're all like, I don't know if you can see, like it's all like, probably not through the glass, but it's all like three-dimensional cutouts. And he does such a good job. Anyway, he gave me that and I just adore it, because I used to just have the loose cart just like sitting behind me on a shelf. And so that will always have pride of place in my game room behind me. Unfortunately, I don't think you can actually see it on camera, but it's there. I get to see it whenever I walk in the room. My original Switch box, a few other bits and bobs here. Dom from the channel gifted me these a while ago. These little Hot Wheels Mario Kart figures. I found these at sort of like second-hand stores over the years. My Fangamer Hollow Knight plush, a backpack that has the faceplate of the shield from Breath of the Wild, which I really, really love. Never used it as a backpack, but it sits there looking like a shield just nicely. My friend Jenny makes these. This is like a little moss creep sculpture from Hollow Knight. I've got two of these of hers. She gifted me this one on my birthday last year, and I just love them. I think they're so cool. Hamster Pancake. You can find her on Instagram and Etsy if you want Hollow Knight sculptures. She does some magic stuff. We've got, yeah, Street Fighter figure. We've got a couple of other bits and pieces. My Hollow Knight there. More Street Fighter. My Art and Artifacts and Encyclopedia of Zelda. The other one was over here on the desk. My Breath of the Wild first 4 figure. Love that thing. I got this for my birthday, I think just after the game launched, and have held on to it ever since. I just love it. The Woolly Yoshi amiibo. I found this in a second-hand store for $1. In like the, you know, like the old plushies, like the old ratty, moldy teddy bears and shit. Like a big bucket of those. Most op shops have them. This was in there, and I thought, yes, I'm gonna have that. So I've had that ever since I found it, which obvious. We've got a wooden wall hanging here. My friend Gary bought this for me when he went to America, I want to say, or Canada, one of the two. I can't remember. He's been a lot of places, and brought it all the way back in his suitcase. It's not light, so it probably cost him a bit. It probably cost him more to get it back here than it did to buy the fucking thing. But it's awesome, and I love it. We've got my Korok, little Korok pin I got for my birthday at Supernova this year from my friend Ash. Thank you, Ash, if you're watching. I love it. It sits there next to my big Korok. All right, let's make our way over here. We'll go through the game shelves entirety. In fact, I might even just turn on this light behind me. Hey, so we can see a little bit better. Hey, there we go. All right, cool. Hopefully that's not going to be overpowering. All right, so here's shelf 1. This is my Pokemon shelf. We've got a bunch of reproduction boxes here, but they all have the original games in them. No manuals. I'd fucking love to get the manuals. That'd be awesome, but my God, they're expensive. We've got my copy of Pokemon Stadium. Never thought I'd own it. Can't believe it's sitting on my shelf still. A Japanese copy of Pokemon Stadium just behind it, which, yeah, it just looks spectacular. Like, that box is so nice. That light is a bit overpowering, isn't it? We've got the box set of season 1 and 2 of the anime hiding back there, which I love having, because for some fucking reason Netflix has only ever gotten half of season 1 and just stopped there for whatever rights reason is stopping them putting the rest up, but now it doesn't matter because I own it. We've got the Battle Academy. That's just there as a bit of a space filler for now until I find something else to go there. Pokemon the first movie VHS. If we just move this out of the way, there it is, hiding back there. We've got my Pokemon Platinum still sealed. You can see there in its acrylic case. Unbelievable find. That was just a right place, right time purchase. Probably one of the more valuable things in my collection. A stack of Pokemon games. Some I've been gifted by my friend G, who I'm very, very appreciative of. and a couple that I've just picked up over the years, just sort of to add to the collection. A few books and bits and bobs, the original first issue of the manga. Yeah, but that's sort of like the Pokemon shelf. So if we move down a tier, this is sort of my pride and joy down here. This is the Nintendo 64 area. This is all my sort of super big hitters. All my favorites from the system that I remember most fondly growing up. Yeah, really wrapped to have all these. Still got a bit of room to grow. Like I want to put something in the background. I've got a couple of old NES games there for now. A Japanese copy of Mario Party back there. I'd like to find some other stuff to put in the background just to fill out that area instead of having just blank white space. But that is my pride and joy N64 shelf. And then we go down here to more Nintendo 64, all of which I still love, but they're sort of like stacked in here a bit more, what would you call, a bit more closely, not on full display because I just don't have the space. But there we go. I love all these as well. Down the very bottom, we're on the floor now. This is my dehumidifier. Very important if you've got a game room and you want to keep the moisture out of said game room. Make sure you get one of these and have it running all the time. Mine never gets turned off. It looks like it's pretty much full. So it's pulling all that moisture out of the air that would otherwise be going into all of this cardboard and books and whatnot. So gotta have one if you've got a game room. Switch collection. There it all is. I might do a video on this one day, just going through it one by one, like, and looking at the entire collection. There's a few others like hidden back there, along with the Wii U collection, my Wii collection, a little bit of GameCube. We've got a random Atari game there. But that's all in there. All right, back up here, PlayStation. I've got a original PlayStation console, Final Fantasy 7 and 8. I really want to find 9. I'm still on the hunt for 9. I had all 3 on the PlayStation back in the day, and now 9 is the only one I'm missing. A couple of amiibos, a few PlayStation 1 games. I'm trying not to collect PlayStation 1. I just pick them up. Like I've just found these in my second-hand store. Time Crisis isn't even a game, it's just an empty case that I found there. Got super excited when I walked into my second-hand bookshop and saw that on the shelf, and then crushing disappointment when I opened it up and it was empty. But if and when I find them, I just grab them because they're, you don't see, at least where I live, you don't see PlayStation 1 in second-hand stores at all. I could just go on eBay and buy a whole bunch of games that I want, but that sort of takes the fun out of it a bit, I think, for that particular thing, and I just don't have the space to have a ton of them here. A little bit of PS4, a little bit of PS2, Ico being my other major second-hand store find. That was unreal when I walked in and found that. Really crazy. But yeah, just again, a few of my favorites, a few that have good memories attached to them. We've got a God of War art book in the back. We've got Deku hiding back there. Hey buddy, probably needs a new home. Xbox, let's get down here. So we got a little bit of original Xbox, a little bit of Xbox 360, a little bit of Xbox One. Again, just some of my favorites, some that I would like to play and haven't played. Some that I just thought are cool that I couldn't leave at a second-hand store when I found them. We've got a console, I believe that works just fine. Got the controller and a random, I've got to find a new home for this. This is just until I find something to fill up the space behind the Xbox games. My third edition Warhammer 40,000 box set. One of my, again, another absolute crowning jewel in my collection, but doesn't really fit where it is. So I'll have to find that a new home somewhere. Right, PC. I love my PC, like sort of like that 2000, late 90s, early 2000s era. I was a big PC gamer during that time, and here is a bunch of my favorite games from that era that I've got, again, good memories attached to. Was really lucky to find this in a second-hand store for $1 mixed in with the music CDs, if you can believe it. So I got that for like $1, I'm pretty sure. So that was rad. My dad had this and loved it. Big Doom fan. But this little slipcase was constantly on our computer desk at home back in the day. But this too, my big box copy of Dark Reign, another one of Dad's favorites. I was very lucky to find a big box version of that. Not an easy thing to come across. And the seller on eBay actually ended up doing me a really good deal on that. So that was awesome. Like, yeah, really, really happy to have both of those bits in the collection. I mean, I'm happy to have anything in the collection, really. But there's some that obviously speak to me a little bit more special. Dark Reign's one of them. But yeah, just a whole stack of PC games. I'll come in a little bit here so you can see a little bit of what's going on back there. But yeah, just a few favorites or just cool things that I've come across. Really cool. Dropping down one more shelf, we got some play guides. This is sort of like a, I don't know where to put it shelf, but I love play guides. It's just one of those things that I like collecting, especially Pokemon ones. I don't know, I just really like having Pokemon play guides and flipping through them. I just love them. Pretty much everything you're seeing here has been found in secondhand stores. A couple I purchased on eBay, the art books, because I really like art books as well. This is a crowning jewel. So this is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Prima official strategy guide that my buddy Scott, again, gifted to me many, many years ago. And I just adore this fucking thing. Check that out. Look at the art. That old school 90s Zelda art. Fuck yeah, I love it. I'd like to do a video where I might flip through this one day to have a look through, because I really, really, really love it. But I've got it bagged up because it's old as shit, and as you can see, like there's bits here where it's starting to starting to come apart at the binding. So I thought I'd put it in a baggie just to protect it a little bit. And then we got a couple of little plushies there. My Grub plushie from Fangamer, from Hollow Knight. Let's get back up. I'm gonna use these old man knees. Ugh. All right. Then we got this one here. A little bit more Pokemon stuff, but this is sort of just a mishmash of different bits and pieces. We've got my Wii console in here. We've got the Pokemon Let's Go controller for the Switch. A couple of consoles, like handheld consoles. The DS Lite, man. The DS Lite, I think, is one of the greatest consoles Nintendo ever made. Like the breadth of library that console has access to from both DS and Game Boy Advance. Oh, it's just a fucking kick-ass console. I love it. I love it so much. Bridging that gap between those two generations, because like the Game Boy Advance, man, that had a hell of a library, and being able to still play them as well as all the new stuff on the DS at the time was magic. So I love the DS Lite. I think it's a fantastic console. We've got a few, speaking of, few DS games and 3DS games back here. If we zoom in a little bit, some of these are special. Some of these I've never played before and want to play. Some of these belong to my brother and I have them because of that. Good old Carnival games. No collection would be complete without a fucking copy of Carnival games. My Pokemon cards, little Pikmin hiding back there. The original Pokemon handbook. Love having that. And this little gem, look at these. These are a fucking nostalgia kick, aren't they? Let's take these over the desk real quick. Who remembers this? Man, I fucking love this thing. And I love the music videos at the end of every episode that they started doing to these songs. Oh, bangers, all of them. Love it. That is such a nostalgia punch for me. I got these on eBay. Someone was selling them as a bulk lot, all of these CDs together. So we got that one. Pokemon the First Movie soundtrack. These have posters in them too, which is really cool, but the posters are the front cover. So if I take them out and put them in a frame, which I'd love to do, then the CDs don't have a cover. Pokemon the Movie 2000. And Pokemon, just music from the TV series. Yeah, really cool. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Love it all. All I need now is a CD player. But I love having them in the collection. Get back there. I wish I had a a better way to display them. They're just sort of tucked back there in the corner for now. Like, this shelf really needs a good reorganize, but I need to find a good way to display them somehow because they are very special. Speaking of very special, here is my Blizzard shelf. So we've got some of my favorite games of all time here, Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft. We've got 2 copies of the Diablo 2 battle chest. There we are, one that has the original Diablo in and one that did not. Man, I love everything on this shelf. Got a couple of figures here. The old series figures and the more modern McFarlane ones that released not that long ago. A couple of art books here, which I love these collector's edition art books. Yeah, very cool shelf. Lots and lots of memories and love on that shelf. Next one down, we have some anime going on. Not anime. Well, we do have anime. And manga. Manga was the word I was looking for because I was focusing on these. But yes, we do have a lot of anime as well. Dragon Ball Z. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, obviously. We got some movie packs. We've got the series there that my buddy Alan gave me this because he was getting rid of it. I didn't have a hard copy of the series. So I love that I've got that now. We've got Street Fighter 2, the movie on VHS, baby. Yes. Man, I used to rent this thing out, or Sam and I used to rent this thing out so much back when we lived together all those years ago, but I was very keen to get a copy of that in the collection. Same with the series as well, the animated series. Got some Yu-Gi-Oh! The first 2 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back there. We moved Goku out of the way for a second. Thanks, buddy. I need to get season 3, and then that's pretty much all I will get because that's sort of my era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Before it gets all... I was going to say before it gets weird. I mean, it already is fucking weird, isn't it? But before it gets way off the fucking rails. Gunsmith Cats. I've still got to watch that. I used to fucking love that show, that little mini-series. And a little bit of Avatar that I've picked up in second-hand stores that I'm on the lookout for more of to complete those collections. And then we've got a couple more figures here. We've got a Goku, we've got Ryu and Ken. All right. And then down the bottom here is my movie /TV series, DVD, Blu-ray, all that sort of shit collection. It's double stacked, so you can sort of see like it runs both rows here, and there's just like a big old, again, same thing, big old mix of stuff that is special to me for one reason or another. I won't pull them all out, but there's, you know, it's that again behind it. Yeah. All right. So that's sort of like the video game part of my collection. You know, it's fairly modest, but it's dense, I think, especially in this tiny little space. And it's slowed down. It's not growing as quickly as it used to. Mainly because of room and always money, but room. I'm running out of room to fit things. We could sort things out a little bit here if we wanted to, but I think I've also gotten a lot of... There's a few pieces left that I want. I want to get a boxed Nintendo 64 because the Nintendo 64 that was my console. That was my era of gaming. I love it so much, and I really want to have like a boxed Nintendo 64 console up the top there somewhere. So I'm yet to find that in good condition. And there's a few other little bits and pieces. A Game Boy SP, Game Boy Advance SP I'd like to get, or a Game Boy Pocket I'd really like to get as well. A few games, but a lot of the heavy hitters, for me, are in there already. So the collecting has sort of slowed down substantially. Not halted, but slowed down because I've managed to find a lot of what I was looking for. And I'm not going for complete sets or anything like that. I'm only like this to me is like this is like what most people have a photo album for, right? Like, it's for memories. It's something that you look at and it sparks memories, and that's always been the goal for me when it came to building a game collection, was that I really only wanted to have stuff that was sentimental and special in some way, that when I looked at it, it sparked a memory of a time or a place or a person or something like that. And I've largely done that. But yeah, we've got a few to go. We're not quite there yet. We're getting there. All right, we've got Ash Ketchum's hat up there. Now, the board game collection. Now, this is probably about half of what my collection was but I sold off a whole load of games basically to get funds and space to move into video game collecting. So it used to be about double this size, but I feel like I need to cull it down again, because like I play probably, I don't know, 5% of this once or twice a year. And the rest of it is just sitting and taking up space for years and years and years on end and not really doing anything. So I probably need to make, the problem is when I cut out half of what's here, I got rid of the half that I didn't, you know, absolutely love and kept what I did. And so now to cut down again means we're going to have to make some really, really hard choices. I won't go through everything here as in as much detail as I did the games, but we'll just have a quick look at what's on the shelves. Unmatched, great fucking system. If you've never played Unmatched, very approachable miniature skirmish card battling game with both fantastical and historical and film elements, and you can jumble them all together. I'm a huge fan of Unmatched. Really, really like it. Obviously, because I have a lot of it. There we go. Let's call out a couple of my favorites on each shelf. What do we got here? Ishtar, I'm a big fan of. 51st State is fantastic. Quadropolis I quite like as well. Atlantis Rising, great cooperative game. Down here, Mosaic. This was all too common. As you can see, it's still in the shrink wrap. Has never been opened. Most of my shrink wrap not open games got sold off when I did the cull, but I've kept a couple in the vain hope that one day I will get them played. And as you can see, there is there are still shrink wrap games. So anything still in shrink wrap when the next culling comes around is probably going to be going. Res Arcana, one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Fucking great game. If you like Magic the Gathering, if you like a kind of a card battling game, but you want it with a little bit of a twist, this is a stellar game and a beautiful production on top of that. Really, really big fan. That's one of my favorite games of all time, Res Arcana. Down here, Seasons is another one if you're into that sort of style of game. K2. K2 was it's an old game, a fairly recent acquisition of mine, and has skyrocketed into arguably being my favorite game ever, maybe. Amazing game. Really, really good. A few big box stuff down the bottom here. Lots and lots of miniatures. I'm a war gamer. I love my dice and my miniatures. I'm a sucker for, even though they never get fucking played, it's more fun to to buy them than it is to actually get them out of the box. I'm a board game acquirer more so than a player, maybe. Let's drop down here. There we go. Just quickly knock through these. Again, we're a little bit off topic, but that's okay. Warhammer Underworlds, massive fan of that game. Another one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Really, really good game. All right, and there we go. Okay, and a couple on the floor here that don't fit because they're massive. All right, let's spin around here. So what do we got here? We got a bit of Warhammer on the shelf here, a couple of figures on display, a couple of boxes that I've got. My friend Vinny's old, is that 5th edition, I want to say, Warhammer Fantasy box. He was getting rid of it, asked if I wanted it. I said, fuck yeah, I want it. So many memories attached to that box. This is my one day I will build some Warhammer rather than just buying some Warhammer area. Oh, hello. Hello. Have you come to say hello? This is Zelda. Hi, girl. Good girl. Okay, all right. Listen. I'm trying to make a video here, okay? But otherwise, yeah, that's mostly what is down here. Unbuilt Warhammer. And every now and then I look at it and think, wow, it'd be rad to have the time to build and paint and play with that one day. One day. Here we go, a little bit of a retro toy collection. Those lights, here we go. So we got a bit of Star Trek. Oh God, you'll fucking crucify me for that, won't you? Star Trek, big Star Trek fan. Love Star Trek. Justin from the channel sent me this little Diablo 2 pop figure and display. A few other bits and pieces on there. Ninja Turtles. Got this for my birthday just today, actually, from Scott, because we have a bit of a running gag that apparently I'm very much like Booster Gold. What an asshole. Anyway. Here we go. Let's have a look at these. These are in just some glass cabinets that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. They disappear very quickly whenever they come up for sale because everybody wants them for exactly this purpose. So I got very lucky to get these two. But yeah, I'm kind of like, if I step back a little bit, I kind of like the chaotic jumble of color. Like I'm not big on sort of like, here's the Ninja Turtles, here's the Street Sharks, here's the, you know, like I like to just like load it all into a t-shirt cannon and then just fire it into the shelves, and what will be. I just like the look of like crap everywhere. I know that'll drive some people bananas, but you know, I enjoy it. But yeah, we just got a mix of stuff. I'll go just bash down on knees again. Bash through this real quick. There we go. A bit of this. Moby Lick is a brand new acquisition. Scott picked me up that at a toy fair recently. My favorite Street Sharks character, or my favorite Street Sharks villain. We got. Can you move your tail, madam? Thank you. A little bit of Godzilla in there, a bit of Batman, some Kamen Rider. Nala and I, we're watching Kamen Rider Double at the moment. Very cool, really enjoying it. Although we've had to put it on pause because something came out. What came out? Something came out that we stopped and had to watch instead for a little while, but we'll get back to it soon, hopefully. I'm getting licked in the face. Hey. Pest. Okay. All right. Hey, over here. There we go. Good go. All right. And the other side, re-released Ninja Turtles. I had all these when I was a kid. And so Scott and I did a mega unboxing of this re-release series on the channel. You can go and find that. It was like Christmas, man. We shot all of it in one day, all those videos in one sitting, and it was just, you don't get to open shit like that anymore as an adult. So that was a lot of fun, and I think you can see that when you watch the video that we were just kind of like little schoolboys. Move down here, we've got probably the oddest shelf where a bunch of Star Trek figures with some Street Fighter backing. I need to figure something out there. Look, you are just insistent. Over here, come over here. Good girl. All right, sit. Good girl. Good girl. Down. Good girl. All right, just wait there for 1 sec, okay? All right, last shelf. There we go. More Kamen Rider. Bit of D&D, and that's it. Cool. And then the last up, we got another frame from Scott. He gave me this years and years and years ago. I love my Mega Man 2. I love Mega Man in general, despite what you might think from my recent performance. I do genuinely love the series. I haven't played many of the old games though. I haven't played many Mega Man games, but I have played a lot of Mega Man 2. It's one of my formative games from my childhood, and so Scott made this for me and I just love it, and I wanted to make sure it got a home. I've sort of been like, I've never had a place to put it, and so I wanted to make sure when I set out to make this game room that it actually had a home on the wall, which it does now. As well as a couple of these. Do you remember these? Any Nintendo 64 fans watching? These old posters that you get in every single Nintendo 64 game. You ended up with like, you know, like 10 of these, depending on how many games you ended up with. But they're so like reminiscent of the era. I got them in some of the games that I acquired secondhand. I was like, you know what? I'm going to frame them and put them on the wall because I love them. They're just so cool. Like I love like this one in particular. Any of these like sort of product advertising posters from back in the day. I'd love to try and get more of them. So this is just the reverse side of that. But I've probably got like 10 of these. There we are. And I think that's going to be the plan, honestly, with these two posters here. If we come back around to this side, I would like to use something like that to fill these space, like more those little sort of advertising game posters in frames. I might chuck a couple there, a couple here. I can still sort of like get this door open and shut and have room to put a few more in frames there. But I think that's what I'm going to do to fill the space in those two areas next to Pegasus there. But that is pretty much that. Oh, you want to go back out now? Okay. There you go. That's the game room. I need to open that door anyway, just so I can stand in the doorway to show you the finished thing. But there we go. There is the game room sans lighting. Now I've got a few ideas on what I want to do to adjust this room, and it's going to be like a little bit of a kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit of a harebrained idea, but it could be really cool if I can get it to work. Definitely not saying this is going to happen, but this is just an idea I've got that I think would be awesome if I can pull it off. So I said that this table, like I love this table. I love how big it is. I love the real estate, but it just doesn't fit in this room. It's so massive. I'm not going to be playing Warhammer anytime soon. Even if I did, I can't use the table to play Warhammer on anymore because all my setup is on it. So I feel like the table probably needs to go. Now, if I can get a gaming desk or a desk of some sort that sort of like cuts off along here, right? That sort of is about that width. That's all I really need to fit everything on that I need for streaming and whatnot. That means I could theoretically fit, if all of this was empty, right? And there's the door there. If all of this was empty, I could potentially fit a small two-seater couch there, right? And if I could potentially fit a small two-seater couch here, what that would mean is that I could put a TV and console setup over here against this wall here. I'd probably get rid of this shelf entirely and put that in the office or something, shunt this over to one side or on either side, and then have a TV and a TV unit with, you know, like the Xbox, the PlayStation, with some retro consoles perhaps, because I'd be sitting close enough to it that the corded controllers could easily reach. And then what that would let me do is stream some games from the couch. If I could get like a little a webcam rig set up in the corner there and a capture card via the TV, which I could use on my Microsoft Surface fairly easily. So that's kind of where my mind is going. A, to get the more posters on these walls here, but B, to potentially house a little two-seater couch there and a TV console setup for streaming there. Let me know what you think of that idea. I think that could be really, really cool, potentially. I don't know how squeezy it'll be. It'll have to be a pretty small couch, but you know, I think there's a decent amount of space there, I feel. So I think it's doable. That's one plan I've got anyway. But there we go. That is my tiny little game room and all of its packed goodness that we've crammed in here over the last couple of years. Mostly this year, when I've really gotten hard into the video game collecting. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you've got any suggestions, any ideas, anything that you do differently or anything that you change, I'd love to hear about that. And if you have a game room of your own, make sure you jump on Instagram and share some pics with us. You can find us there at Sidescrollin. yeah, I'd love to see some. I love looking at other people's games rooms and getting ideas and just seeing people's collections. So if you've got something similar, or even, no matter how humble or exorbitant it is, please by all means jump on and give us a look, because I'd be really, really keen to see that. Anyway, that's going to do it from me for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed a bit of a look around one part of Sidescrollin HQ. My name has been Jamie Dean, and as always, make sure you keep on side-scrolling as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.